Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be talking you guys through my pregnancy experience with our second son, Jude. I mentioned in my last video that I was going to do like a pregnancy experience, so this is it now. I've written it down on my notepad because I kind of feel like there was so much that went on during my pregnancy with Jude that I needed to order my thoughts a little bit. So if I glance down, that's why I'm just checking my notes. So essentially, Jude was born last year in March. So the summer before, which would be summer 2017, was when we became pregnant with him. Now, I kind of had a feeling I was pregnant before I took the test, and I took a pregnancy test quite a few weeks early, and it came up as negative. And I was absolutely devastated. I took the test and just burst into tears, and was like folding away some of Grayson's like baby clothes that had got too small. And I remember standing there just weeping over like the pile of baby clothes and the fact that I was so disappointed that the pregnancy test came up as negative. Now that should have been the first kind of like alarm bell to ring off to say, babes, you know, something's up here, because I wouldn't normally cry like the way that I was. It was so dramatic, but I kind of like told my husband about it. He was like, don't worry, you know what, we said we'd try for a baby in like 6 months or so, you know, we'll get there, it will be fine. So that was actually our plan, to start trying like properly, like, okay, let's go, let's see if we can have, let's go for another one, let's have another baby in like 6 months. But you know, God has other plans, yeah. So anyway, I kind of like, I didn't bother, I just left it alone. So I just tried to move on from feeling a bit like rubbish about the fact that, you know, I got this negative pregnancy test. But I just kept having this weird feeling that I thought I was pregnant, and I just felt like I don't feel right, you know, you just kind of know your body and something just doesn't feel right. So I gave it another 2 weeks or week and a half, something like that, and I took another test. This time, the test, there was like a really faint line, and I think I might have even filmed some footage, and if I did, I will insert it. But it was really, really faint, and I wasn't sure if we were having a baby or not. So I left it a couple of days, and I took another test, and this time I took a clear blue, and it was like 2 solid lines, we were having a baby. Okay, I've got no makeup on and my hair needs to be brushed. Anyway, so the reason why I just decided I'd grab my camera and get it out is because basically I can't believe this. I think that I might be pregnant. Yeah. I think that I'm about 70% pregnant. I know that sounds like the most ridiculous thing in the world, but I woke up because I had a dream. Okay, so let's rewind. Okay, yesterday I woke up, yesterday was Sunday the 6th of August, and I woke up because I'd had a dream that I was pregnant, and I just felt a bit weird when I woke up in the morning. And the week before, I'd actually had a bit of a weird feeling that I might be pregnant, and I took a test and it was negative. I thought, well, it's probably a bit early to tell anyway, we'll just wait and see how it goes. So then yesterday, after the dream and feeling a bit weird when I woke up, I took a test, and I wasn't actually going to tell Lee that I was taking the test, because I'm like, I don't want to kind of get his hopes up and say, oh, I think I'm pregnant, and it's just nothing again. So, but he overheard me, he's got ears like a hawk. He overheard me in the bathroom undoing the wrapper, and was like, you're taking a pregnancy test. And I said, how the heck do you know? And he just said, I've heard you undoing the wrapper, I know what you're doing. He's like, make sure you, like, come out, hurry up, quickly, I want to see, like, make sure you show me. I did the test, and I will show you the test in a moment, and it basically got one solid blue line, and the other line was there, you could definitely see it, but it was faint. It was a faint blue line. And I was like, well, what does that mean? Are we preggos? Like, what the heck? Am I out the duff? Is there a bun in the oven? I just didn't know. Like, the test says, oh, if you take it it was clear blue, and it says if you take this test like X amount of days before your period is due, there's like a 78 or 76% accuracy. So we couldn't really work out if we were pregnant or not, because the line, as I said, it was really, really faint. So yeah, we're now at the point of thinking that we're like, well, I am like 78% or whatever it was, prego. I'm going to take the test again, I think tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow, and just to like see if the line is any clearer. But there might be a bubba. I am excited and terrified in equal measures. I'm just about figuring out, and not very well sometimes, how to parent one child. And now I could be a mum of two, which I'm so excited about if that's the case, but also quite nervous. But then I'm like, well, I kind of always wanted to have 3 children, so having 2 is like, what's the big deal? You know, shouldn't be a problem, but I know it'll be fine, and every child is a blessing. I truly, truly believe that, but it's always a bit nerve-wracking. Okay, I'm really hoping that this is the real deal and there's another baby coming. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty emotional. I cried. Also, like, I think I need to go back and say, moments after we got the positive sign, well, the kind of positive, and I was sat in our bedroom on the floor and I was like, I feel really peculiar. I then felt really unwell and ran in the bathroom and was sick, and it was almost like a good omen. But in my last pregnancy with Grayson, about a week before or maybe it's about 5 days to a week before I realised that I'd missed my period, I thought I had a food poisoning bug and I was just throwing up. Pretty much as soon as I took that pregnancy test, I threw up. No word of a lie. I took the test and I was a bit like, oh my gosh, there are 2 lines, like, this is it, like, we're having a baby. I was really excited, but at the same time I had this huge wave of nausea. It kind of like, I literally felt like my scalp tingle, like my throat went all horrible and dry, my mouth was like, oh, and then I was like, I gotta go, and I just ran in the bathroom and was sick. And I'm not even gonna lie, from that moment I felt nauseous pretty much until Jude was born, and I was vomiting for about 6-7 months straight throughout the pregnancy. From that moment, it was just the most surreal thing that happened. Have the sickness kick in so like strongly and quickly really did take me by surprise. So pretty much I managed to like a couple weeks going to work, just like the nausea was there and I didn't feel very well, and I just kept trying to eat my way through it. But yeah, it wasn't going great, and I just felt progressively worse and worse and worse, to the point where I just couldn't even like get up and function to go to work, and I ended up having to be signed off of work, and I was signed off of work for quite a few months actually with hyperemesis gravidarum. That's the really extreme pregnancy sickness that I had with Grayson. Some of you might have heard of it before, like Kate Middleton, she had that with her pregnancies as well. I've made a video, I believe, on my hyperemesis experience, and I think if I have made a video I will try and leave a link to that. But that really took it out of me. I spent like weeks and weeks in bed. I ended up having to go and be hospitalised again and put on a drip because the sickness was just so severe I couldn't actually cope. It was a lot harder this time round as well, because the first time when it was just me, you know, being sick, you could go and hide in a room and be by yourself when you don't have any other children. But this time we had Gray, and you still need to parent. I still needed to be there for him. Lee was incredible. He just stepped up to the plate and really like took on so much with Grayson and around the house while I just couldn't deal with anything. But I still needed to be present, and Grayson would be like, oh mummy, why are you not talking to me, you're not playing, kind of thing. And it was really, really hard. It was even difficult because like the smells just set me off. Like just smelling Gray, he'd come in from outside, was like, making me feel so sick and nauseous. So it was really hard. As I said, I stayed in hospital. I had a little bit of a stay there. Was hooked up to a drip. I was given the anti-sickness medication intravenously as well. Some of it was so strong it made me go a little bit doolally. And we kind of had to test a little bit the things that worked and what didn't. And I got on to a medicine. I can't remember the one that I took now, but it worked really, really well. And it did help to, it didn't take away the nausea, but it reduced the sickness, and I could kind of battle my way more through the nausea than I could kind of manage with the constant vomiting. So that was really challenging. I went back to work once things had kind of levelled out and I was able to. A bit like with Gray, I'd lost quite a lot of weight during like that initial period because I was so sick. Once I went back to work, I'm not going to lie, I found it really, really difficult. It was exhausting. I managed to negotiate some flexible working as a kind of like a reasonable adjustment at work due to the pregnancy sickness and the challenges I was having. So I was able to work from home 2 days a week, but even with the 2 days a week from home, it was brutal. I won't lie, it was really difficult. My day job is I'm working for a charity with young people, and we had a project running at one point, I remember, and I was really busy on the ground working, and there was a bit of a bust up with some young people, and I was trying to move out of the way. It happened really suddenly, and as I was like stepping away trying to get out of the way of the tussle, I got hit in my stomach, which like was really, I found that really shocking. I went to hospital afterwards. I got checked out and I was completely fine. The baby was completely fine, thank God, but it really, really shook me up, and I think the exhaustion from working so hard on that project kind of tipped me over the edge, and I ended up having to get signed off work sick again with another bout of really bad sickness and exhaustion. So that kind of took it out of me, but I went back to work after that kind of sickness period being off and just kept pushing through. Now, one thing that I should have mentioned before actually was throughout my pregnancy with Grayson, we had lots of additional scans because Grayson was born a bit early, and they noticed during the scans that his growth was a bit on the smaller side. So with Jude, based on that history, they were going through the same process of extra scans to track and monitor his growth. Now, during that period, he was doing really well. He was actually coming up a bit bigger, which I knew because I was a lot bigger anyway. We were like quite confident that his growth was doing great and everything was going really well. And one morning we were about to head off for a scan, and I felt a little bit off. And this was about at 26 or 28 weeks, something like that. I felt a bit off, and I actually said to my husband, I said, Lee, I think I'm leaking my waters. I don't think my waters are broken, but I feel like I'm leaking fluid. Something doesn't feel right. I said, look, we're going to the scan now anyway. Let's ask the stenographer to check because we're going to the hospital. So got to the hospital, they did the scan. I expressed my concerns to the stenographer, and she said to me she'd check and see the fluid, and she said, you're right, you have lost fluid compared to when your last scan was. You've actually gone down by about 40 to 50% in fluid, which is a huge drop. So right away she said, I need you to go around to the specialist unit and get seen by a doctor. So straight away we were like, oh my gosh, this is getting serious. So we went round to see the doctors. I was hooked up to monitors. I had to have an internal examination. So uncomfortable. And they essentially said, like, when they kind of looked internally, they could see like that there was fluid leaking, but it was quite a small amount. So they felt there was a very small tear in the sac that was causing the fluid to leak. So because of this, they were worried that it could mean A, the baby getting an infection or going into an early labour. So at like that point, I think we were about 26, 28 weeks. That was actually still quite early to have him. So I was told I would need to have steroid injections to ensure that if he was to come early, his lungs and his brain and like vital organs would be developed enough. So I had those injections. I was also put on antibiotics just to help prevent any infections, or if there was an infection, to fight it. Had to do an overnight in hospital, which I actually recorded on my Instagram stories. It was hilarious. I don't know if you can link to stories, but I'll leave a link to my Instagram, and I've saved it as a highlight, and it's under the title Memories, so you can go check that out. But yeah, that was a bit of an interesting experience, but everything was fine, and I was told I needed to keep coming back. There was no infection, baby was healthy, doing really well, I was healthy, great, but I needed to keep coming back to the hospital every couple of days to have blood tests done to check that there wasn't any infections, and that I would also need to have more regular scans to make sure that the fluid levels were staying at the right point. So we were going every sort of 3 or so days to the hospital, like extra scans and stuff. And we'd done like a couple weeks of this, and everything was going really, really, really well. And then I was walking down the stairs at my mum's house, and my knee gave way. I just was going down the stairs, my knee just completely gave way, and I fell down the stairs. Like, this pregnancy was so full of drama. My mum, my sister, and Grayson was with me, all came running, and they were like, oh my gosh, what's wrong? And I was just like collapsed at the bottom of the steps in a heap. Mum was like, did you hurt your belly? And I managed to kind of throw myself backwards and like protect my bum so I didn't fall forwards or tumble down the steps. But I couldn't get up. I'd really hurt my knee. I couldn't move. Grayson was hysterical, crying because I was in so much pain. I ended up having to phone Lee and be like, babe, I'm so sorry, but you need to come pick me up. I need to go to the hospital because I've fallen down the stairs. So this was at about 7 o'clock on a Sunday night. So Lee comes and gets me from my mum's, who lives in London, with my notes, and we drive back out to Surrey. We're to our local hospital where we've been like getting all the treatment, and we get there about like 9 o'clock at night, and we're sitting around and ended up being seen, and essentially they basically checked me over, checked baby, we're all fine. But the doctor said what had happened is your body produces a hormone relaxin to help get you ready for labour, and my body had produced too much, maybe, I don't know, and it causes your ligaments to kind of sometimes become a bit loose, and that's what they think had happened with my knee. So as I was walking, those ligaments were just a bit loose, gave way, and I just had ligament damage in my knee. It was really painful. I was on crutches with a huge bump and had my leg in a brace, basically. And then it was snowing as well. This story just gets more dramatic. And it was really snowing, so it was so icy and dangerous out. I ended up having to go on early maternity leave because I just couldn't walk. I couldn't actually get on the train and get to work. I couldn't drive because I couldn't move my knee. So I called up work and I took early maternity leave, which I think was the best thing for me to do, because I think at this point we had arranged or agreed for an induction at 30, I think we said we were going to have Jude induced at 36 weeks, and at this point I was about 33, so we were kind of like planning another couple of weeks and then we were going to have him. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to take early maternity leave, get some nesting in, and hopefully my knee can recover and I can be good. So my mum came to stay with me and looked after me while Lee was at work and helped me look after Grayson because I couldn't really get around. We had a scan that Friday scheduled, and I went to the hospital with Lee for the scan. My mum stayed at my home and watched Grayson for us. When we got to the hospital for the scan, we kind of just took it everything would be fine because all the scans so far, all the blood tests have been great. The lady that did the scan was really quiet. When they go quiet, you just know something is not right. And I started to get really anxious. I was like, what's the matter? What's going on? Tell me right now what's happening. And she was like, just a minute. And in my head, I was a bit like, what's going on? And I was like, is my baby okay? What's wrong? Is my baby all right? She's like, the baby's okay. Just please hold on. You know, like, when you're feeling hysterical, someone trying to calm you down just doesn't work. She told us that it looked as if the baby, his growth had dropped off, Jude's growth had dropped off, and that he was beginning to distribute nutrients towards like the vital organs to sustain life, which is obviously starting to get kind of risky, and that's what had happened with Grayson. So we kind of knew what territory we were in. She sent us back round again to see the doctors who then told us that they were going to induce the labour the next day, tomorrow, which was a Saturday. I burst into tears. I just was like, no, this is too soon. At this point, it was like we were almost 34 weeks. So the next day when they were going to induce the labour was a bang on 34 weeks. I burst into tears. I was like, this isn't happening. My leg's still in a brace. The baby is not ready to come out yet. It's too early. I was so scared and sad. I mean, in all fairness, 34 weeks is still a bit soon and it is premature, but it's, babies are pretty robust, I guess, at that stage. The doctors were very sweet and gentle and reassuring and told us it would be all right, and they were right. It was quite emotional actually. I feel quite teary just sort of thinking about it all. Gosh, yeah. So then we headed home and told my mum what was going on, and that we were basically going to have him the very next day, which I think we were both feeling really emotional and all over the shop, to be honest. We just quickly packed a bag for Grayson, and he went to stay with my mum, and we kind of had to then really quickly prepare ourselves, we're gonna have this baby. So guys, I'm gonna leave this video there because I can see my battery's flashing, it's about to die, and I'm gonna record another video going into more detail about my actual labour and delivery experience, because woo, that was the drama too. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this isn't too long, and I will see you in my next video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to make sure that you stay up to date with all my latest videos. Go follow me on socials and give this video a thumbs up. I will leave links to all my channels, blogs, socials, all of that stuff down below. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye!